Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Anita. If you're new here, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and join this beautiful family. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks, and thanks for always sticking around. So this video is a highly requested one. So many people have been asking the questions: what am I expected to do as a support worker? What am I expected to do as a domiciliary carer? What am I expected to do if I'm working in a care home? And what am I expected to do as a living carer? This last one is not something so popular, but people do it. So I am here to answer all of the questions. So grab a popcorn so that I'll take you through this ride of understanding your roles in the different care jobs. So it is no news now that the UK borders are opened for carers to come in due to the shortage of these people or workers working under this sector. And a lot of people have benefited from it, and a lot of people are trying to make their way into the UK to pick up one type of care job or the other. Hence the questions coming up. So that is why I have decided to make this video so that you understand the different rules. Before I go into this video, I would like to say that the two types of care I would explain, which is the support work and the domiciliary carer, are highly out of experience. And the other two, which is living care and working in a care home, I have never done that, but I did make some research and asked some friends. I have a colleague who has worked as a living carer. Shortly, I kind of asked her some questions and I know about it. And then I have also a colleague currently who was working in a care home, and I asked him so many questions. In fact, I even recorded a voice note on that. So I had played it to understand his roles. So everything I'm talking about here might be different, but I will tell you that this is really what to expect when you're coming in to pick either of the jobs as a carer. The first one we're going to discuss is domiciliary care. So this domiciliary care entails you going to people's houses. I think if you're following my videos, I've been repeatedly saying this. So the people you're taking care of in this kind of care are mostly elderly people, people who were discharged from the hospital, but they are still on their medications and they are recovering, and also a little bit of people who have some disabilities, learning disability. Few of these people, because I had these people when I was doing domiciliary care. So then, yeah, cerebral palsy. Yes, I think, yeah, people who have cerebral palsy as well. So you go into their homes, but I think people with this kind of disability live with their parents. So the only thing you need to do is to assist them. But you can meet those kind of people in a domiciliary care. So what are your job roles as a domiciliary carer? The first one is personal care. This personal care entails a lot. It's quite broad. You have to bathe them, strip wash them, bed wash them for people who are bed bound. Not really who are bed bound, people who maybe cannot get off the bed, and yeah, almost the same thing. So yeah, it entails this aspect. Those things you do in the bathroom, shower them. You know, in Nigeria, we just say, sorry, I'm always saying Nigeria. I know I have people watching me all over the world. Sorry when I say Nigeria, because we are always used to saying, oh, I just had a bath. It was when I came in here that I understood there are differences between having a shower, having a bath, having a wash, having a bath, the one you do in a bathtub, having a shower, the one you shower yourself here, then having a wash. Let's say you use a flannel or a mini towel to give yourself a wash. That is it. So when you come in here, you understand that these whole things are different. It's not like, oh, I just had a bath that we say, or oh, I've taken my bath. They are all different. So that is it. That entails personal care. You apply deodorants and all of that, dress them up. So another thing you do is you assist them in preparing meals or snacks, anyone. Most of them are on already made foods. They eat not they are on. So they eat already made food. So you heat it up in a microwave. But for people that you make their meals, they are always simple meals you can make under minutes and not like cooking apple and ofonub. So that is it. So it's just all these simple meals you can make for them, then assist them in feeding as well. Let's say those people have difficulties in feeding and they can't feed themselves, so you assist them to feed. Then the third one is medications. Yeah, you'll be trained for that. You administer medications to them, you document it properly, the time, the dosage, everything according to whatever the care plan says or whatever is on your mark sheet. So mark sheet is where you do all these documentations concerning medication. So that is it. You also assist them with toileting needs. So these toileting needs differ. Some people can take themselves to the toilets, but some use incontinence pads. So you have to put on their incontinence pad for them, be it the panty ones, be it the ones you just have to wrap up. You assist them with that. Then if there are people on catheter, you empty their catheter bag, take down the meals, the fluid calculation. If it's 50 mils, if it's 100 mils, you take it down, you just empty it, make sure it's the catheter bag has been emptied there. Then some people use commodes. So commodes look like, let's say, a portable toilet, which because of their mobility, because of their inability, because of their inability to move around. So these people use commodes in their rooms, so or in their lounge. So you make sure you empty it. Some people might have pooped inside it, some people might have passed urine, so you empty it and make sure it's clean. That is for the toileting needs. Also, you do domestic duties. So domestic duties like housekeeping chores, washing plates, yes, so you hover, some people you do their laundry, you wash their clothes. What I've never done was ironing, but I know I do wash the clothes, put it in the dryer, and it's going to dry. People that don't have dryer, you put it on the airer or airing cupboard, and then that's all. So you clean their kitchen, you mop, you sweep, you watch the bathroom. So also your roles as a domiciliary carer entails you doing shopping errands. Maybe some people might not be doing it. I am just saying these are your roles. But it's just that some people's needs might not cover this. Some people, maybe their kids have signed up to do their shopping, maybe their family or friends or anybody, or maybe they can still do their online shopping because some of them are really used to modern technology. So they can get their tab and mix a few shopping and order. So, and it gets delivered. So what you just do as a carer is to put them away, put them where they are supposed to be. Let's say you met the order, and most of them order when a carer is going to come in. So they have it all planned out, and in their care plan as well, you will do that. So some people might not be doing shopping needs, but I did shopping needs when I did a domiciliary, when I was into domiciliary care. So I usually do shoppings on that client service users I did shopping for on Tuesday and on Thursday. Yes, I was doing shopping on these 2 days, and believe me, those days I come back with waist ache because I have to carry these things. Although sometimes you have to get a taxi and all of that, so that's it. So you do their shopping, so you handle money also, because this leads me to having to explain the fact that you as a carer handle financial this thing, and that is why you hear stories of carers stealing from their service users, or because we handle money as well. When you're doing shopping, you have access to their bank cards, you have access to their piggy box. Not, it's not piggy box, but it's more like, yeah, a safe where money is kept. So sometimes they withdraw money and they put in there. I don't know who withdraws money, but sometimes we withdraw and we put it in there. Sometimes you meet money that you didn't put, but you have to, probably other carers or family friends, you just have to document and account for it. There is a book for that called the financial record book, where you have to record all of these, and you will be taught on how to do all of it, all of this. So this part of your training and all of that. So we handle money as well. Also, what you do as a domiciliary carer is you take some of your service users or your clients out for a walk, or you take them to park, depending on what the care plan says. I had just a client who I was taking out to walk. I would take her to pub as well, where she would have dinner or have tea. So I'll take her to pub, sometimes take her to stores where she can just pick one or two things. So she can get cakes, snacks, and all of that, or get whatever she felt she needed. She gets wine as well. So I had a client then that I walk, but that was the only client I do walk then. So other ones are just in their houses. So you can walk your clients, even take them to appointments. Yes. So let's say your day of shifts fell into the day she's meant to have a hospital appointment with the NHS or anybody, and you have to take the person. You have to arrange for a taxi if you're not driving. And most times I say if you're not driving, I'm beginning to misplace this with my support work, because most of these people that I did domiciliary care with, I don't know if they had cars. Um, I don't know if they had cars, and there was never a time where we had to drive their car to wherever. So he was always arranging taxis. Another thing you do as a domiciliary carer is encouraging them, having to monitor them, of course, because when you come, let's say someone was sick, had a flu, had cough, you have to highlight concerns and talk to your manager. Oh, I think this person have gotten this. I think this person is this. Like one of my client had COVID that time. Whenever we come on shift, we have to run the text to know when she tests negative of COVID. So that's another thing. So you encourage them, you support them morally. Sometimes you do a bit of motivational speak here and there, trying to reassure them, emotional, physical support. So that's all for a domiciliary carer. So just know that these are your roles, and where the roles happen is in these people's houses, in their homes. You have to meet their family sometimes, you meet friends sometimes. That is just it. So, guys, let's go into the second one, which is living care. So, everything I've mentioned in domiciliary care, put it down here as living care. You're going to have do personal care, you're going to do shopping. The only difference now is you are not going from your house to these people's house. You are living in their homes. Now, all you need to do sometimes is stay in 2 weeks or 3 weeks with them, have a week off in a month, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off. It depends on how, because why I know about this living care, like I said, my colleague, when I was a domiciliary carer, did a bit of living care for I think a week. Then, when I was really looking forward to leave my job as a domiciliary carer, I looked into living care, but I was considering, do I want to do this? Because it's more like you're doing domiciliary care, but you're not walking around. You're not going to these people's homes. You're living with these people. So that is it. So you have to cook for them, take them where they need to be, take them to appointments, assist with toileting needs. Exactly what a domiciliary carer does. That is what a living carer does. But the only difference is you are now living with this person, which makes it a bit hectic, because you might not have the time of your own, but by 9, sometimes your company gives you a time at which you have to sleep. So any other thing happening around that time, I think it shouldn't be your business, but it should, because you're in somebody's house, I mean. But any other thing that happens from 10, let's say if they give you 10 to sleep, from 10, so you need to be in your room and you need to sleep from 10 till whenever. But every other time, I don't know if they have breaks, because that my friend didn't mention anything about breaks. But once, I think it's from 9 or 10, she goes to bed. That's why I feel living care is a bit stressful, and I was considering how am I. The only advantage is that I won't be walking around, which was quite a task for me. But then living in someone's house and having to condone every other thing, of course, to be quite much on you, having to wake up every morning and wake up to this person. Except guys, except if this your client is a very nice person. Yes. But believe me, when people are aging or when people have got one sickness or the other, you have to understand that they don't react the same way you want them to react. So guys, coming to care home. I have heard a lot about care home whereby people are saying it's very easy to work in a care home, but I think it depends on what care home you are working, because a few people I asked questions and my colleague that I asked question about care home didn't really give me a very nice response on that. But believe me, I think no form of care is easy. Let's just put it that way. But it's just that there are ones that are slightly easier than another. There is a building that houses people. My friend said there are wards in it. My colleagues, yeah, he said there are different wards in a care home. But I think it depends on how big the care home he worked in was, because the care home he worked in was very big. So I think he had worked in dementia ward. They have different wards. So he was telling me that the main thing when you're working in a care home is personal care. You can do personal care according to him the whole day. I don't know how true that is, but he said there is a lot of personal care. So he said when they come in the morning, you clean them, bathe them, wash them, do whatever, assist also in toileting needs, which I just group under personal care because, anything that exceeds outside that involves the body, I think is personal, because you're changing pads, you're emptying catheter bags, you're doing this, you're doing that. So I just take them. I don't just list wash, bed bathes, every other thing, showering, personal care. I still include toileting needs in personal care because you have to, it entails privacy and personal stuff. So that's it. He said the ogabata of it is personal care they do, and a lot of toileting needs have to be attended to. So he also said they do, because he works as an agency staff, they assist in feeding them and also walking them around. So they walk them around with their aids. It depends. Maybe some are using wheelchairs, some are using Zimmer frames, so you have to walk them around. So these are mentioning your roofs now when you're working in a care home. So he said they also check their weights for people that want their weights to be checked, and they document it as well. You are in an enclosed space with this person. You are in their wards. You're taking care of them. You're feeding them. That is it. You dress them, take out their dirty clothes to the laundry section, get their food from the kitchen or something of that sort. So he said in a day he can attend to 10 people depending on how short staff they were. If they were short staffed, he can work with up to 10 people in a day. So guys, when I asked him about shopping, he said no, they don't do shopping. So in care homes, I don't know if you're watching this video and you've worked in a care home, just comment down. Do you guys do shopping? Because he says they don't do shopping. He also said there are nurses who work in a care home as well. I believe the ones that check their BP, that check their oxygen rates, and all of that. There is nothing much of having to go out, do this, do that. So the most important thing is that you are in a place. So he also mentioned that there is elderly ward. I just remembered there is elderly ward there. There is dementia ward. So I've never worked in a care home, though I'm making plans of working as an agency staff in a care home. So I'm working towards that, but I have never worked in a care home. You're just in a place, you do your shift. If it's an 8-hour shift, you do your 8-hour shift, carry your gongo and go home. That is it. But if it's domiciliary care, you're just working from pillar to post, house to house. People who work in a care home, the only thing that people keep complaining is that they do personal care. This is something that if you just see someone who has worked in a care and say, you do personal care tire. So you see, I don't know how true this is. If I'm to speak it in Igbo, I mean, it's very funny. So they said they will keep changing their pads and all of that till the day ends, and you see that's what makes it tiring to work in a care home. So that's all for care home. The last one I'll be discussing is support work, which I am doing now. So yes, I'm so glad to discuss this one. And a lot of people have been asking, oh, can you make a video on the roles? This is me saying my roles as a support worker. So in support work, generally, you have a home, a supported living, and in that supported living, you have people you're supporting, your service users living in there. So these service users might be children, they might be teens, teenagers, they might be adults, and they might be elderly people as well. So it's within this range, and some of them, believe me, are highly dependent, and some are highly independent. But because of one problem or the other, they needed to be there to be supported. So whenever I mention support, just in your head, say assist. Let it just revolve around assisting. So some of these people, they are not really sick. I won't call it being sick, but it's just that they have got one disability or the other. Some of them highly might be autistic service users. Some of them have behavioral challenges. Some of them have learning disabilities. So this is just what you would see in there, and some of them have probably something to do with psychological or emotional trauma or something related to that stuff. Some of them might have been suicidal in a stage of their life. Some of them might have been abused in one way or the other in school while growing up and all of that. So this is what you see there. So you see people with suffering or battling one or two challenges. So now you're there to assist them. They are just normal human beings, and you just have to assist them with cooking, laundry, their day-to-day activities. So now what are your roles? When you come on shift, if it's people that need personal care, you assist them with personal care. And when you're assisting, unlike other forms of care, sometimes it's just you do it yourself. This one, they do some of it. They do some of them. So you might just end up helping them to scrub their back, and just some of them, in fact, they make choices. Some of them have got capacity. And these people, they know what you're doing. In fact, some of them are smarter than you are. That is the truth. So it's not like when you come on shift, like let's say if it's domiciliary care, I can go in, get choices of clothes and this one. Some of them make their choices. They get their clothes, they tell you what they want to wear, they get it, they wear it. Some of them, when you even come on shift, they've already had their personal care done, worn their clothes, and they're waiting for you to come so that when they have breakfast, you see that they're having breakfast and you document it. You see that they are doing this, you do it. Some of them have activities that you assist them with. Most of the times, let's say some of them enjoy doing karaoke, some of them do dance, some of them like to sing, some of them, you just have to assist them. Sometimes you find yourself being a singer. So that is it. The fun of it is you are only assisting. And in situations where I'm trying to feed my service user, no. Sometimes if your manager sees you feeding a service user, she might correct you on it, telling you that just trying to make him lazy. Your job here is to make them live independently as much as possible. So you see what makes support different. So you prompt them to do things. So with autism, because some of them are highly autistic, so it just depends on what home you are working and what levels of disability they have. Some homes you work in some homes and you don't do anything. You just have to make sure you monitor what they are doing, so because there are things they can do for forget, or turn on the oven, forget. So you just have to look into their day-to-day activities and make sure that they are doing it rightly. So you don't really have much to do if you work in an independent home. And I was opportune to work in one, and I was so happy because I don't do anything. But sometimes you have to walk them to stores to do their shopping, because they do their shopping, not like you're doing shopping when you're doing domiciliary care. No, they do their shopping. So you just take them, they move their trolley, they pick whatever they want, they even get their list, they write their lists, and they're looking at their list, they're telling you. Sometimes you just need to tell them, oh, I think you're shopping more than you have on your list, or you're over, because some of them have limits to what they spend in a week. So you're just there as their, how will I say it, their companion or something. Like, I take them as maybe my friends or something. You're shopping with someone and you're just having a conversation with them. Sometimes you even sing their favorite songs with them, and then you go to the store and then you pick one or two things, and then I'm like, no, you're shopping more than you've exceeded your limit for. And sometimes when you even tell them, they'll tell you, no, I've got so they'll tell you what amount they've got. Maybe you're the one making mistakes because they're now correcting you that they've got to spend up to this time because they didn't spend this or they didn't do this. So most times you really don't do much, but there are some support homes where you work and you find out that you're doing a lot. Let's say the ones that are really dependent on people. Let's say some service users are really very autistic and they can't do anything on themselves. They can't even control their toileting, like toileting needs. They can't control it. So you're the one helping them. Some are on incontinence pad. So you see, it just depends. But support, if it's to be seen the way it is just for you to assist. That is it. So you assist them. They live just like the normal people. They can go to pub. They can go to the coffee store down the road to have coffee. So you just take them there, sit with them while they have their coffee. You can even grab your own coffee. That is it. So, and most times you take pictures of them, but with consent, and you don't do this with your phone. You have to do it with your working tab, because we work with tabs though. So if you work with a phone, fine. If it's a tab, fine. So you take pictures, but of course you have to get their consent from some. Most of them like to take pictures. They'll be like, oh, they'll even be the one to remind you to take pictures of the activities they had in a day. So it's more like a flex in care job. With support, you don't really have much to do in support, unlike when you're doing other forms of care. Also, with support, you take them to hospital appointments. And another thing with support is if your service user has been admitted in the hospital, your place of work changes. So you have to start working in the hospital. When they've been admitted, your shift starts in the hospital. So you have to go to the hospital to work. Also, you take them to appointments. Let's say they've got to meet their dentist, they've got to meet whoever, they've got to meet family, or family has got to meet them. So it's more like you're supporting. I don't even know how to put this, but if you understand, this is just it. You're supporting someone to live a normal life. You're not doing it for the person. You're not doing those things. Not when I was a domiciliary carer, I come to work, I hover, I do this, I do that. Some of them you just have to prompt them. You can say, oh, Mr. A, do you want to hover your room now? Or would you like to do this? Or would you like to do that now? They will say, oh, yes. Some of them even enjoy doing one or two things, and you see, you just have to stay with them while they are doing those things by themselves. Also, in support, you administer medications. Yes, you'll be trained for that. You administer medications, and yes, this reminds me, I've been getting so many requests on the trainings I did as a support worker. Of course, I'll be glad to share, guys. I'll be very much glad to share the trainings. And I'm still on training. So, my training, in fact, I have been training. So, that's it. So, you also handle their money, because these people, you don't handle their money. It's in the office though. But yeah, of course, you handle it because you're in charge, you get. So when they want to do their shopping, you just have to get their cards, give them. So on return, you have to document this is what was spent. You put in the receipts and all of that. So now with support, maybe you have to take your, which is a bit similar with domiciliary care, but some of them say they don't even go during domiciliary care. You're the one to do it. But with support, they always go with you. Apart from really maybe people that don't want to go because some of them feel lazy a lot. They'll tell you, no, I don't want to go out today. I don't want to do this, so you have to do it. Yeah, something like of that sort. But some of them who will tell you, I don't want to go out to do the shopping. Once you tell them, so do you want to grab a coffee? They say, oh yeah, yeah, I want to grab a coffee. So, with support, most times when I get to work, so I'm not trying to paint words, but sincerely, when I get to work, I just laugh all day. So I just laugh all day. That's it. Because some things you experience or some of the people you interact with, they read like they are really funny. Some of them are very tricky. They want to use your brain. That is, like I mentioned, they are very smart. Some of them are smarter than you are, and they know their rights. Unlike other forms of care, when you're working with people that maybe are elderly people, people who have got dementia, you can do one or two things and get away with it, which is not right, guys. When you're doing a job, you should stick to the rules of the job. I mean, so but with when people are coming in, you really don't know what you're supposed to do and what to do and what not to do, and we tend to make a few mistakes. With the other forms of care, you can make a mistake and get away with it. But you see, with support, there is a mistake you make before you even get home. Your manager is calling you. That's the truth. And sometimes some of them can even lie against you. So there are situations where, and that is why with everything that happens with support, try and document because you're dealing with people who are as much smart as you are. So if you try to outsmart them, they have already made. In fact, I have had an I have had a situation where something happened here. So I was trying to talk to my service user. I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to report you to the management. And he was like, before you report me, I will report you to, and it's me they will believe. So you see, you're dealing with people that already know their rights. So with support, you have to be extremely careful with things you do. You might think they're not watching you, but they know what you're doing. And the time they want to report you or they want to pick on you or they want to do anything, that's where the problem is because you're dealing with people who have their full capacity to think. Just that it might be below the normal or even sometimes above, sincerely. I'm telling you, some of them can be very tricky. So that's it. So that's that with support. So the last but not the least I would have to mention about support so that you bear that in mind is that normally they have mental support home, but some support homes would not indicate that they are mental support homes because they don't want to pay as much as they would have paid if it was a mental support home. So you just have to be careful of such homes. Although you will have some trainings to do because some of the support workers used to chop beating when they go to work, chop blues and all of that. So the training is entails how to. I have not done that training on how to probably because there isn't any need yet for it. Maybe because I've not worked with people who are physically violent towards someone or their staff because I've not really done that training. But that training would help you to know how to defend yourself, restrict them, and all of that. So that's it. So some of those homes, you have to be careful when you're working in it because that's another disadvantage of all this support work. Some of them have some mental challenged service users where you go to work and they are trying to attack you or they're trying to throw things at you when they get highly agitated or all the sort of it. So that's just one of the disadvantage. So, guys, with this explanation of mine, I hope I've convinced you on your roles as a carer. So, if you're choosing any of this, you have to choose wisely to understand what you are coming to do. So, and if you've watched till this point and you've not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for to subscribe to this my beautiful channel. Please subscribe to my channel, make sure you like, leave your comment down the comment section, and until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.